Thank you for the kind introduction. I didn't understand a word, but I assume it was really Thank you. It's lovely being here. Walking here, I thought, what a beautiful city you live in and what a beautiful country. I came from drizzling Frankfurt, like it was raining, and I was like, I am so grateful that I'm the lucky one to come here. So thank you so much for inviting me. It's a real honor. I brought you this depiction, and I was just curious if you would like to guess what those 12 people stand for. Yes, you're going into the right direction. Well, these 12 depict the 12% of the German population who do not read and write proficiently. So 12%, that's over 6 million people. And this, it seems like a number, but the problem is that these are individuals who can't partake in society, individuals who are not able to read a good night story to their children, and individuals who suffer because of the fact that they can't read and write. So we asked ourselves the question, these adults had a history before they became adults. They aren't born as adults, and the 6.2 million, this number didn't just occur out of nowhere. And here are a few studies I would like to refer to which help us to understand why there is such a high level of low literacy in Germany. Our recent study, we just got the data of the Read Aloud Monitor, which we run every year at the German Reading Foundation, showed that 39% of parents do not read to their children or hardly ever read to their children. That means if we look in a room like that, it would be more than 1/3 of this room wouldn't have this experience as a child. And this, we can see this all through the history of a child. 19% of grade 4 students aren't able to read at the minimum reading level. And then if we look at 15-year-olds, we see that 20.7% of them have difficulties with reading. The problem with that is that these children then become adults who don't have an education to rely on. 45,000 students leave school in Germany without an educational qualification. Then 1.5 million young adults between the age of 25 and 35, which is the age where you would like to foster their education, aren't able to partake in life the way we would expect them to. And they can't do the jobs they're interested in doing because they don't have the qualification. So after giving those really depressing numbers, I would like to switch and look at the positive outcome we would like to be at in hopefully the near future. And walking here, I passed at least 20 beautiful olive trees. And when preparing this presentation, I thought of your beautiful country, and the first picture which came to my mind was your just beautiful nature here. And that's why I brought this watercolor of an olive tree. And I would like to compare this to a reader. We would like children to become readers, adults who are able to enjoy literature, who are able to read a health prescription, who are able to partake in society so that they can grow, but also that they can help others to grow. So if we have this beautiful olive tree as our aim, how can we get there? So let's take a positive look at it and see what we need to do to let this tree grow. Because it's not only about planting the seed, it's also about nurturing it. It's about protecting the environment. And it's about giving this tree space to grow. So we know from the research which has been done in this area, and Peter Jenkins, who just gave the presentation, gave you the same studies, that reading aloud practices in the early years and the home literacy environment is detrimental to a child. And I'm not only speaking about the academic outcomes. What is really near and dear to my heart as a psychologist is that children who are read aloud to regularly develop social skills. They are more empathetic. They are more open towards ideas which are foreign to them. And this is so important for our society. This is important for peace. This has knock-on effects on so many other areas of life. And this is why I assume all of us are so passionate about this topic. So I have the privilege to present you very quickly what we're doing at the German Reading Foundation to use the data and use the research we have now seen and put it into practice and see how what we can do. So we start at the very earliest point. When a baby is born, we try to help the parents straight away. So once the baby is born, in a new project now, at the hospital, there's personnel speaking with the parents and educating them about the importance of starting at the very first stage. Like, you don't have to wait until your child is 2 years. You can start even in the womb. I just read a fascinating study that children actually recognize a story if the mom has read that story to the child within the last 6 weeks of pregnancy. So that's the very first step where we start. But we don't stop there. We work together with pediatricians, and in Germany there is a system where parents go with their child to a pediatrician for checkups. And the advice of a pediatrician, thankfully, is valued highly by parents. So it is ideal for us to work together with them because we know that parents will take their recommendation and hopefully put them more into practice. So we have Lesestart 1, 2, 3, and I'll just show you those bags. So at age 1, they get this yellow bag, and I'll show you the other ones as well. At age 2, they then get the red bag and then the blue bag. And the idea is to not only say to the parents, oh, just read with your child, it's really important, but show them how to do it. So to, for example, give them an idea of, well, reading aloud is not only reading the words, but it's about bonding with your child. It's about interacting and, for example, playing little games and using the book as a starting point for conversation. And also to reply to the babbling sounds the child does and to really focus on your child and start to communicating at the lowest level. And also, we have to go with those packages, we have materials for the parents in different languages. And then, so if you open, so those are the languages mostly spoken in Germany, and then they have ideas how to do it and advice. And here you can see like finger plays and ideas what we can do to foster language development. Furthermore, we have a digital medium with which we try to reach parents who wouldn't usually go to libraries, and it's called Einfach Vorlesen. Every week there are 3 new stories on that platform for different age groups. So if parents are traveling by train and they would like to download it, they can use the free internet on the train, and the train system in Germany supports this platform as well, and then they can read out loud a story. Then, and this is my favorite project so far, it's called Lesestart, weil uns Lesen weiterbringt, so Reading Start because reading helps us to grow. And it is a program where we work with children who come to Germany to seek help because there's either a war or there are reasons in their home country why they can't be there anymore. And these children get packs like this, and also, again, some ideas what they could do. So there are also creative ideas, how they could use the book as a platform to then get more creative. And so this is an example for the book, and we train librarians and other like social workers and people who are passionate about this topic, how they can best present these books. Furthermore, libraries and the first houses and places where these families come to get boxes from us with like 20 different books, and it's for the parents and the children to just have books, because we know from research that vulnerable parents and parents who are negatively affected by stress that they are not as likely to read out loud to their children. So we try to support them by offering them free books and gifting them books. And then I'm sure you all know the books in a Happy Meal. I guess that's worldwide. And on top of that, we have a World Day of the Book. And here we try to reach 4th and 5th graders. And thankfully, 54% of 4th and 5th graders in Germany could be reached by this project, and they get a free book. So the idea is that every child has access to books every year, and that it's free of charge. So it doesn't depend on their socioeconomic background. And then we have our big Read Aloud Day in Germany. That was on the 18th November. And it's about, that's just the advertisement, it's about reading out loud. And the fascinating thing is that actors, soccer players, like it seems as the whole society is so excited about the idea that they join in. And children obviously are super excited if a soccer player reads out loud a story and not their teacher, because it's a new thing and it's really exciting. And we have that aspect of role modeling. And also, we always encourage parents to not stop fostering literacy once the child is able to read by themselves, but to keep going. And that's why we have several facilities in Germany called Leseclubs and Media Labs, so reading clubs and media labs. And here you can see a map of Germany, and children and teenagers can go to those places and they can borrow books, they can borrow other types of media, and that way language development is encouraged. And also the idea is that every child has access to it. So they don't need to travel for an hour to get to a media lab or to a reading club, but it's in close proximity to them. So that's why we have this on our webpage. So every parent, every child can look up the webpage and then just click where they live and see where the closest reading club or media lab is. Okay, where do we want to go from here? We have some goals because we all were quite shocked, like frankly shocked at the high numbers of parents who do not read aloud. And as Peter Jenkins said before, we assume that there has been an effect due to the prolonged lockdowns and just the stress which was on families. So our first aim is to reduce the percentage of parents who do not yet read aloud to their children. So at the moment it's 39%. We're hoping that we can get at least to 25% by the different programs we create. The second goal is to improve the learning opportunities. More and more children stay longer at school so that they can get those impulses from their teachers, from social workers, and we hope that those learning opportunities will help them to thrive. And the last aim is to get and engage up to 1 million volunteers to foster literacy through different approaches, and be creative in that, so that every child finds a road and access to literacy. I would like to end with the picture of the olive tree, which I started with. And I have the impression olive trees grow fairly quickly, but I would like to introduce you to a plant that grows very slowly, and that's a certain type of bamboo. You plant the seed, you nurture it, you water it, you look after it, but it takes around 5 years for the first leaf to sprout. And speaking about literacy, I sometimes wonder if it's hard because at the very beginning we don't see the beautiful benefits of it. But I truly believe if each of us plant the seed, and if we nurture the seed of literacy within children, then we are planting hope, and we're planting a future, and we're planting peace. And it doesn't only have positive effects for this child, but it will have a positive impact on our society. So thank you very much. If you have further questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. And here's the literature and the webpage. So yeah, just I assume that the presentation will be shared. And I also included notes, so for those of you who, it was quite fast, who couldn't follow, there are notes for each slide.